Hello and welcome to The Explainer. Today we are going to tackle something that trips up so many German learners, reflexive verbs. Now, I know they can seem a little weird at first, but trust me, by the end of this, you'll realize it's just a really clever puzzle with a super logical solution. All right, let's get into it. So I want you to picture this. You throw a ball at a wall. What happens? It comes right back to you. Well, some actions in language work exactly the same way. In English, we say things like, I wash myself, or he introduced himself. The action starts with the person and bounces right back to them. This simple idea is the key to everything we're about to cover.
Okay, so let's put this into practice. If we know that I wash in German is ich wasche, what on earth do we put in that blank to show the action is bouncing back? German doesn't really have a single word for myself. Instead, it uses a system that's honestly way more elegant.
And that system brings us to our main event for today, reflexive verbs, or as they say in German, reflexive verben. This is just the official name for these bouncing back actions, where the person doing the action is also the person receiving it. So here it is, the key difference. Instead of tacking on a self word like we do in English, German uses a special little word called a reflexive pronoun. It basically bakes that bouncing back idea right into the grammar of the sentence. And these pronouns, they are the absolute key to unlocking this whole concept. So, how do we actually use these verbs? Well, you're going to need the right tools for the job. And in our case, the tools are those reflexive pronouns we just talked about. Let's open up the toolkit and see what we've got. Okay, don't let the chart scare you. It's simpler than it looks. On the far left, you've got your regular subject pronouns, I, you, he, she, and so on. Now those next two columns are new tools. The accusative is for when you do something directly to yourself. The dative is for when you do something for yourself. The main ones to watch are for I and you. Mich changes to mir and dich changes to dir. For a lot of the others, though, there's a fantastic pattern. And this right here is probably the best shortcut in all of German grammar. For him, her, it, them, and the formal you, sie, the reflexive pronoun is always sich. It doesn't matter if it's accusative or dative, it doesn't change. It's just sich. Seriously, burn that into your brain. It makes life so much easier. All right, let's get our hands dirty with the most common type of reflexive verb you're ever going to see. This is the main event, the accusative case. This is your bread and butter, where the action is happening directly to the subject. So with these, that little reflexive pronoun is literally the direct object. You ask the question, who or what is being washed? Myself. Who's getting dressed? Myself. The subject is taking the full force of the action, 100%.
And here are some absolute classics you will hear all the time. Sich waschen, to wash yourself. Sich anziehen, to get yourself dressed. But it's also for feelings, like sich freuen, which means to be happy. You can kind of think of it like you are making yourself happy or pleasing yourself. Let's look at it in a sentence. Ich ziehe mich an. Super common phrase. Ich is me, the subject. Ziehe an is the verb, to put on or to dress. And there it is, mich. That's our reflexive pronoun, our direct object. It shows the action of dressing is bouncing right back onto me. Simple, clean, perfect.
Okay, you got the accusative down. Feeling good? Now it's time to level up your game. Let's talk about the pro move, using the dative reflexive pronoun. This is where you start adding some real precision and nuance to your German. So here's the rule of thumb, and it's a big one. You use the dative reflexive pronoun when you are doing something for yourself, and there's another thing in the sentence that's the real direct object. This happens all the time when you're talking about washing body parts or buying something for yourself. And this slide right here, this is the big aha moment. Just look at this comparison. On the left, ich wasche mich, that's accusative. It means I am washing my entire self. But on the right, ich wasche mir die Hände. What are you washing? The hands. Die Hände is the direct object now. So the pronoun shifts to the dative, mir, to show who's benefiting from the action. It's like saying, I'm washing, for myself, the hands. See that shift? It's brilliant.
Here's another example. Ich kaufe mir ein neues Hemd. Let's break it down. What am I buying? A new shirt. That's our direct object. So, who am I buying it for? For myself. That's why we have to use the dative pronoun, mir. You're thinking like a German now. I buy, for myself, a new shirt.
Okay, now that we have the theory down, let's talk about actually using this stuff in the wild and, more importantly, how to avoid a few common stumbles. Knowing the rules is one thing, but knowing where people usually go wrong, that's even better. Honestly, the best way to get this right every single time is to follow 3 simple steps. First, just always remember to include the pronoun. If you say ich wasche, that means you're washing the dog, not yourself. Second, take a half second and ask, is there another direct object in this sentence? That'll tell you if you need accusative or dative. And third, if you're talking about a he, she, or they, just use sich. Don't overthink it. So where does this little pronoun actually live in a sentence? Well, in a basic statement or a simple question, it likes to snuggle up right after the main verb. Super predictable. Ich wasche mich, wäschst du dich? For now, that's a fantastic rule to stick to.
All right, theory's done. You've got the tools, you've got the tips on how to avoid the traps. I think it's time for a quick test flight, don't you? Let's see if we can put these new skills into action.
Here we go. First one. Wäschst du bitte die Hände? So, are you washing your hands, please? What reflexive pronoun needs to go in that blank? Think about it. What's the direct object here? The answer is dich. Of course! It has to be dative because die Hände, the hands, is the real direct object. You are washing the hands for yourself. Excellent. Okay, let's try one more. Sie kauft a new Clyde. She buys a new dress. Which pronoun sits in there? And the answer has to be sich. Remember that awesome shortcut? For sie, she, it is always sich. Now, it is technically dative here because ein neues Kleid is the direct object, but the word itself doesn't change. She's buying the dress for herself. You totally got this. And there you have it. Reflexive verbs aren't this impossible wall you have to climb. They're actually a door. And now, you have the key. This isn't just about washing hands or getting dressed. It's about expressing a whole universe of new ideas in German. So the only real question left is, what new sentences are you going to unlock?